Hi yogis, Sadie Nardini here, founder of Core Strength Vinyasa Yoga. This is my yoga hack series. Now I've made a lot of little bite videos for you that will show you how you can totally revolutionize even the poses you've been doing for years and think that you know how to do them. I've studied with anatomy masters now for 10 years. So many different kinds of anatomy, biomechanics, and physics, as well as yoga asana, which I've been teaching for over 20 years now. And when you match the two of them together, you see some areas where yoga alignment is not how our human anatomy works. So alignment and anatomy sometimes are two different things. And when that happens, you want to default to human anatomy, to the laws of nature and physics and the way that our bodies actually work and don't. So a really good example is Warrior One. We step the back foot in a little bit, or we turn it definitely 45 degrees. Front foot steps forward to the front thumb or to center. Now the back foot turned 45 degrees and straight is going to have us come up in a way that we really need to get there. Okay, Warrior One, there's so many issues I have with this pose, and you'll see why in my Warrior One. But basically, just one simple hack. When you come into Warrior One, the most common instruction is usually turn the hips forward, square the hips forward, turn that back hip point to the front of the room, front hip point back, all these instructions to to get us to get the hips forward. Now, if you know anything at all about anatomy, and if you don't, I'm about to show you, the kneecap, the front of your knee, needs to be facing the same way as your toes in this pose or in any pose. If it's not, that's a twist. And one thing about the knee joint, it doesn't twist. It does twist, but you'll severely injure yourself. It's a hinge joint, right? It's a hinge joint, so it bends like that. It's not supposed to twist with an anchored foot back there. So anyway, in this position, knee, cap, and toes have to be in the same position, or you're really twisting your knee, or that of your students if you're a teacher. So once we get into the pose, the instruction to turn the hips forward, if you see this on a skeleton, you can even look at your kneecap. My kneecap is now facing way forward, and my toes are still out 45 degrees. So this is a twist of my knee. I'm being very careful with it, but I can feel it happening right now. I don't want to be in that any more than I have to. So what's the answer? If we don't say that, what do we say? Well, for example, I have a couple ways to come into this pose. I'll just show you one of them. Once I get here, I turn my front toes in a little bit. I bend the back knee too, and this way the femurs and pelvis are way more movable, so you're going to come up with more open, more integrated joints. From here, I want to take the sitting bones back and wide, and this is a movement that will integrate the leg bones, the femurs, and descend. Right, that's what you want in the hip joints, and open the pelvis a little bit so you get some nice wide, deepened enough. We're not forcing anything, but just here at a nice deep neutral. So we're going to give the pelvis and hip joints some breathing room and space. Now from here, I want to walk my hands in a little bit over to the left side of the mat. So we're just kind of in this position where I am almost centered between my feet, so my pelvis is centered. And when I press my feet down, I'm going to start rolling up. I'm going to roll up in a diagonal because that's the position of this pose. Front toes can turn forward, but don't turn the hips forward. Keep rolling in and up along the front pelvis, along the front spine, zipping up, and reach your arms to the sky. Now notice I don't look like I'm in a Warrior One, but that's okay. I'm not going to tell my class they're coming into Warrior One either, or they'll default to this thing. So with the pelvis at a little bit of a diagonal now, not so much as Warrior Two, and not a lunge forward, somewhere in between, you should have the kneecap in line with the toes. Once that happens, keep the pelvis like that, but spin from the sternum, the shoulders, and the head. That's it. So spin from just the sternum, but let the pelvis stay a little bit open. Now it's a twisting action that is allowing the kneecap to stay at its neutral position. It's allowing the chest to face forward and to be in your Warrior One look here. Maybe the back heel could lift and set back more, and that will allow the femur and the hip to turn slightly more forward, but without compromising the knee joint. So from here, you have a beautiful Warrior One without compromise or injury. We have a position for the hips forward already anyway. It's called the simple lunge. And now the heel is lifted, so the kneecap and toes are in one line. And then we have a middle man pose, right? Warrior 1, so the hips and inner groins and inner thighs can really start to open in preparation for some of these totally open poses like Warrior 2, where we turn the toes open so the kneecap and toes still face the same direction. All right, so that's a lot of information for you, but I think you can kind of see the value of what I'm here to tell you here in these yoga hacks. I can change your practice, keep you practicing for a lifetime, less injury and strain, more power and freedom in every single pose. So now doing one pose is like doing 2 or 3 or even more of the old school type of yoga posture. You're going to light up so many more muscles, stretch more fully and holistically, get your whole inner body digestion, metabolism, hormones, and organs to really inspire, to amp up, to stimulate, and to do what they were meant to do instead of just working from parts and pieces of the outer body. And honestly, wasting so much effort and time on the mat that you could be transforming. So now you will be. Thank you so much for joining me here. Check out all my yoga hack videos on YouTube, and hope to see you there. All right, namaste.